Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, said that your brand is what people say about you when you are not in the room. Let's examine what we mean by the terms brand and branding. If you own horses and cattle, then you'll know that they roam far and wide and are quite happy to mix with other herds of horses or cattle, which makes it very difficult to identify which are your own livestock. The solution, of course, is branding, taking a red-hot iron with a distinctive pattern and searing a mark into the flesh of the animal. So we put our brand on our property to mark it as our own. Our distinctive brand is easy to recognise, and this kind of branding with a red-hot iron is still used to this day. But in the 19th century, the term branding started to be used as a metaphor for the name and the image that represented a company. And so the concept of corporate branding was born. Now, a brand is a symbol for a business, and we need those symbols just as much as ranchers do, so that we can identify the company that owns the product. But now, I think it's fair to say that a brand symbolises more than just the company that owns the product. It also symbolises the trust and the desires and the ambitions that go along with those products. James Walter Thompson was an early pioneer in the world of advertising, and a lot of the techniques that we think of as commonplace in advertising today were pioneered by him. Thompson took over a small business and founded the huge advertising organisation which for many years bore his name, J. Walter Thompson, until it was incorporated into a larger advertising conglomerate, and now I believe the name isn't widely used. It was Thompson's drive to create symbols and slogans for his clients that gave rise to the modern logos and taglines that we see on just about every product and service today. And it all started in 1900 when the firm J. Walter Thompson published its description of what it called trademark advertising. This was the first description of what we now call brand management. And trademark advertising set the standard for the use of logos, imageries, and words that we see in corporate branding today. From the 1920s, the birth of radio added another element to the trademark advertising brand management toolkit: sound. Now, every brand required its own jingle. And today, those jingles have morphed into sophisticated soundscapes that often borrow ideas, concepts, and even music from the broadest of cultural influences. Big brands now co-opt the brand values of global artists from Schubert to Sheeran, Stravinsky to Taylor Swift, and from Bach to Bieber. In 1955, Burleigh Gardner and Sidney Levy published an article in the Harvard Business Review called The Product and the Brand. They were the first people to talk about the brand being a separate thing from the product itself. What matters, they argued, were customer perceptions of the brand image. So now, branding is all about how customers perceive you and your product set. And now, in the modern world, brand is the sum of hundreds, thousands, millions of interactions, both at the human level and in the digital world. So your brand isn't your products and services, and it's certainly not your logo, your packaging, your colour scheme and your tagline. They all contribute to your brand, but your brand is what people think of you. It's what they associate with your business, and critically, it's the way they talk about you. As a result, your brand can distinguish you from your competitors. It can increase demand for your products, and it can enhance customer loyalty for you and your brand. So, what do we mean by brand? Well, branding is the sum total of all the marketing, the communications, the planning, and the thinking that go into influencing this perception. How you influence people will depend on many things: your objectives, your product set, your customers, and the channels with which you address your customers. So, branding is about associating your products or your company itself with things that your customers will value. These include things like quality and luxury, innovation and modernity, reliability and durability, sustainability and eco-friendliness, value and cost, or friendliness and fun. Each brand will be pitched at a unique combination of those and many other factors. And branding does this by summarizing the qualities of the product or the organization using a well-understood shorthand, well understood usually at the subconscious level. That shorthand includes things like symbols, colors, phrases, and musical phrases. These will subconsciously invoke in customers the feeling that they can accurately gauge the values and the qualities of the company and of the products it sells. These things will evoke unconscious associations that your customers will believe that they can use to accurately gauge the qualities and the values of your product and of your company itself. As a result, arguably, customers buy the brand and not the product. This is almost certainly true of your loyal customers. So an important part of branding is building that customer loyalty to the brand. Why does this matter? Because loyal customers will often buy your product with little or no marketing. They will often be early adopters for new products that you produce, and they will often be advocates for your brand and for your products, therefore doing some of your marketing for you. We use the term brand awareness to describe the extent to which consumers can recognize a brand under different conditions. And there are two varieties. There is brand recall and brand recognition. Brand recall is the ability to identify a brand unprompted, to associate that brand with the products you need before you think of other brands. Brand recognition is less strong. It's the ability of customers to recognize the brand purely from its symbols, its colors, its imagery, and its tagline without seeing the product or company name. The strongest brands lead their markets. Think about brands like Apple and Microsoft, Ford, Kellogg's, Coca-Cola, Gillette. Brand equity is the value of the brand, and with enough brand equity, customers will become loyal to the brand and buy it unquestioningly. And brand equity comes from reputation. It's important because customers will often trust or not trust a brand based on its reputation. And that level of trust will often be despite the particular qualities of individual products. They will extend the reputation of the brand to all of its product set. And of course, a high brand equity allows an organization to raise its prices and increase its profit. In 2020, Interbrand evaluated the top 10 brands by brand equity. These were, from the top to the 10th, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Samsung, Coca-Cola, Toyota, Mercedes-Benz, McDonald's, and Disney. Brand loyalty is the feelings of attachment that customers have for a specific brand, which often lead them to purchase products from that brand with little or sometimes no critical evaluation. Compare brand loyalty with customer loyalty. Customer loyalty is merely buying a product because of its quality. Brand loyalty is buying a product because of the name and logo attached to it. The last thing to say is that there can be a downside to effective branding. Brands can go bad. The stronger the public awareness of a brand and their attachment to it, then the harder will be the fall if something significant happens to damage the brand. Classic examples include the scandals attached to Nike's alleged use of child slave labour, Shell's Brent Spar incident, and United Airlines' forcible removal of a passenger from one of its planes. When one of these incidents hits the headlines, then press opprobrium can work on an already strong and established brand to undermine it massively in the eyes of its customers and potential customers. However, the strength of good branding is that minor incidents will usually have only a tiny and very temporary effect on the reputation of a brand because of the overweening strength of that brand. I've chosen to begin my series of videos on marketing for managers with brands and branding because they are core to the modern way of marketing products, services, and businesses. If you are a manager in any kind of organisation, you need to understand the impact of your organisation's brand on its client group and also the impacts of the brands of the organisations with whom you do business. Please do give a thumbs up if you like this video. There'll be loads more great management courses content, so please do subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of them. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one, and in the meantime, keep learning.